So how do you have higher income? The best way to have higher income is to increase the amount of beds that you have, right? The 6, the 8, the 10 bed, that's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna come close to even breaking even. So I do 16. That is my niche. I think mathematically it is the best and most profitable way to go. I can maximize my income to my expenses as far as staffing, and I can provide the best care with that ratio. What's up, mansion builders? Welcome back to ALI. I want to talk to you today about the effects of inflation on the RAL space. I honestly think that inflation is killing this industry. It is killing the RAL, the small home conversion model. So since COVID, staffing has increased by about 50%, at least for me, right? I started at about $12 an hour in 2019, 2020, and we are closer to about $20 an hour now for caregivers. And again, in some markets, it's $25 an hour for a caregiver, right? My insurance after COVID, it doubled. It literally doubled 1 year. And then the next year, it doubled again, right? Insurance is 4x what it used to be. Food is up 50%. Utilities are up 50%. The expenses are skyrocketing. They are through the roof. And honestly, the biggest expense that we have in this space is staffing. It's care, right? And that has gone up by so much. And I would say to you that, you know what? Inflation post-COVID has pretty much squeezed the juice out of this industry, where a lot of times for a lot of models, this is not profitable. You cannot make money in the RAL space. And I definitely think this is something that has come since inflation, because prior to that, prior to COVID, right, there are places where you can run these. You can run a 6-bed or an 8-bed. You can pay $10, $11, $12 per hour for a caregiver, and you could still make money. You could squeeze in that $7,000 to $10,000 a month if you were full. I honestly don't think that's physically or financially possible anymore. If you take a look at some of the math and you say, all right, well, now I'm paying $18 to $20 an hour for a caregiver, some markets more than that, right? If I have 6 to 8 beds, if I'm bringing in $30,000, $40,000 a month in income, just my staffing, right? 2 caregivers during the day, 1 caregiver at night. We're at $22,000+, right? That's just for caregivers. That's not counting the actual cost of the building and the insurance and the food and all the other things that go into it, right? Like, it is actually not possible to make any money in the small RAL space anymore. COVID and inflation has just come in and just crushed us. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The RAL is dead. It does not work anymore. You can blame Trump, you can blame Biden, whoever the hell you want to blame, but it doesn't work anymore. The math does not math anymore. So here's the problem. Your expenses are now double what they used to be, right? So how do we make a profit? Well, if your expenses are gonna be double, all you have to do is increase your income. And that's what I did, right? So how do you have higher income? The best way to have higher income is to increase the amount of beds that you have, right? The 6, the 8, the 10 bed, that's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna come close to even breaking even. So I do 16. That is my niche. I think mathematically it is the best and most profitable way to go. I can maximize my income to my expenses as far as staffing, and I can provide the best care with that ratio. So the income number you should be shooting for is $100,000 a month. If you can bring in rents from your grandmas and grandpas, $100,000 a month, that's 16 rooms at $6,250 per month. And that may not work in every marketplace, right? That's probably not gonna work for shared rooms, but you know what? Change your model. I do all private rooms. I'm on the good side of town, not on the bad side of town. I do end-of-life care and memory care, and I can charge that as a minimum. I mean, we're pushing $8,000 and now $10,000 over the last few years as prices have increased. So you can do it. I've worked with people all over the country, and about $6,250 for end-of-life care is pretty much the floor. It doesn't really get less than that. So if you can bring in $100,000 of income every single month, then you can afford 2 managers, or at least 1 full-time, 1 assistant manager. You can have 2 caregivers 24/7 every single day. You can have a chef. You can have all the expenses. You can make sure you have insurance and liability, all those kind of things. You can have every little detail done and still net at least $30,000 a month. So not only can you make $30,000 a month in profit, in cash flow, but you now have fully staffed and 2 managers there, right? It's not like you are the only manager. I budgeted in 2 people. There's somebody there every single day, Christmas, every day, somebody's there. This is a system where you can pretty much work 4 hours a week. You can be that guy, the 4-hour work week kind of guy, traveling and going to Cancun and all that kind of stuff with a $30K a month, right? Like this model will allow you to do it. The RAL model, it's dead. It doesn't work anymore. It broke. So I tell this to people and then they're like, well, yeah, great for you. You're in Texas or, I can't do it in my state. That's ridiculous. You can do this in every single city, in every single state. Are you trying to tell me that the government goes and tell you you cannot have a 60-bed big smelly facility in that city? Every city can have a big smelly facility that's 60 beds, right? If you can have a 60 bed, then you can have a 16 bed. The question or the shift in your mind is it goes from residential to commercial. Don't go buy a house with R1 zoning and convert it and think, oh, I can do a bigger 16-bed deal that's gonna give me financial freedom. You're not gonna get it, right? You're gonna get stuck. It's residential zoning. They want you to do residential. So the next thing is go look at the big facilities around. What type of zonings are they in your city? Are they in commercial? Can you do it in R4? Is it mixed use? Can you buy vacant land that's agriculture and get a special use permit? You can literally do this in every single city. Just think outside the box. You can't do residential zoning and do a big deal like this. And then the same with the licensure. People always say, oh no, my licensure stops at 6. No, it doesn't. It's a different license. What license does the big smelly facility have? What license do you do for end-of-life care or memory care? That's the license I want, right? I want to be able to charge a high rent amount. So therefore, I go look at my competition. Who has high rents? They probably have a more end-of-life care license type. That's the service that they have. So I go and I copy that. Who's got the highest rents with the private room? I'm going to go build a better product, more intimate, be close to them, and I'm going to market specifically to steal all the grandmas and grandpas from the big smelly facility that's getting bad care. So if you want to learn more about this, hit our location selection course. This deep dives into market research, talking to the city, going through due diligence. It's on our website. It's totally free. Hit memorycaremansion.com. Free resources. I hope that this will be the catalyst to help you do a bigger life-changing deal. So I just have one ask, that you will help other entrepreneurs do this life-changing deal, right? Get to financial freedom. Have a one and done type of product where they're not trapped with this little RAL that doesn't work anymore. So if you could share this, inspire people to do a bigger deal, I would appreciate it. They would appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.